got great footwork, great hands, the ability to pass. She can put the ball on the floor. It's tough to keep her off the boards. The one thing Sherry Cole has talked about is her consistency. Game in and game out, she doesn't get flustered. And she will put up double-doubles, and she has 25, leading the nation, also 20 in a row, also leads the nation in rebound. And then Kelsey Griffin, another top freshman from Nebraska, but she has mono. How much time will she get to play?
Checking our starting lineups, and for Oklahoma, two players that don't normally find themselves in the starting lineup, but this is senior day for the Sooners. So Laura Andrews and Becky Preston will get the start for the Sooners this afternoon. And Kiera Hardy as well, the shooting guard for Nebraska, who last year was second in the Big 12 in scoring, behind only Kendra Wecker. She averages 17 points per game, and she will need to have a big outing this afternoon in order to keep Nebraska competitive as we are set for this afternoon's tip. Courtney Paris jumps center for the Sooners, wins the tap easily, and we are underway. Again, only the third sellout for women's basketball in the history of this building. Last year was the first sellout when Tennessee came to town, and earlier on this year, a few games ago, as a matter of fact, when Oklahoma hosted Baylor, that was their second ever sellout, and the Sooners off to a good start. So on senior day, a senior, Becky Preston, hits the first shot of the afternoon.
Becky Preston, who has probably gotten less time with Courtney and Ashley Paris coming in, but yet she has become their mentor.
Well, Courtney Paris is 6th overall in the nation, averaging 3 blocks per game, and she rejects the first attempt for Kelsey Griffin. Of course, Griffin, as we said, is struggling with mono, and now she has a chance for a three-point play. And I guess, and what we're going to have to keep our eyes on this afternoon is how many minutes Kelsey Griffin is going to be able to give Nebraska. She played only 13 minutes in their last game against Oklahoma State.
The 6'2" freshman, she was not even out here with the pre-warm-up game. But she was at practice this morning, the shoot-around, but we saw her grabbing her shorts. She looked exhausted and was really sweating a lot, and she was not out here for the shoot-around.
Well, Griffin and many other players of the Big 12 this year have been overshadowed by the early season success of Courtney Paris, which has continued all the way through the season, as Leah Rush will head to the line. But Griffin averages 14 points and 6.5 rebounds per game. She's a two-time Big 12 Rookie of the Week as well for Connie Yori, who has a real find as she went up to Eagle River, Alaska, to bring down what is now a prized recruit.
She got it, basically, Cindy Fisher, who was an assistant for Connie Yori, and who is now at University of San Diego.
And Sherry Cole, in her 10th season, has gone to the NCAA tournament 6 straight years. They will make it 7, certainly this year, and back in 2001, 2002, a Final Four appearance.
Talked to Connie Yori before the game and said, well, what do you do to defend against Courtney Paris? She said, pray.
A miss from the corner for Aubrey, but an offensive rebound for Nebraska and a fresh shot clock.
And a lot of teams this season have had to pray with Courtney Paris.
And those prayers have not often been answered. Latoya Howe runs the point for the Huskers. And this is Hardy, their leading scorer, who needs to have a big afternoon, and she's off to a good start. Penetrates and hits the runner, and Nebraska has a 1-point lead.
She can be a real streaky player. She's averaging 17 points a game, and they need all of it from her.
Fighting for the rebound inside was Griffin. And it will be Oklahoma basketball.
And Bob, we talk so much about Courtney Paris, and she is one of the most unbelievable freshmen. But here on the offensive end for Nebraska, you see the nice little step through by Hardy, and they get dribble drive penetration. That's going to help the Cornhuskers. But this is a team, Oklahoma, is just not Courtney Paris. They've got some talented players, and Ashley Paris comes off the bench. This is a team that's got a lot of chemistry this year that Sherry Cole talked about.
Paris with the offensive rebound of her own miss, and she draws the foul. And that really is where she is so dangerous. Not only does she shoot 61% from the field, but as you said, she grabs an average of 5 offensive rebounds per game.
Well, but going to the free throw line is not an advantage. A lot of people have been asked, who does Courtney Paris compare to in the women's game? And she is her own woman, honestly. And be her like a Moses Malone or a Wes Unseld, but she does get those offensive rebounds, as you said, 5 a game, and that's huge because that's another 10 points on the offensive end scoring. And there's Ashley on the bench, and the two of them played together in high school at Piedmont. They averaged between them 45 points, 31 rebounds, and 7 assists. So they did share the basketball.
Courtney Paris, as we said, though, only a 49% free throw shooter. A pair of misses allows Nebraska to hold on to the lead. And a teardropper from Hardy. She now has 4, and Nebraska with a 3-point advantage.
Coming out watching Hardy warm up, she reminded me a lot of Betty Lennox. Just in her quickness and her ability to get to the basket and those little raindrop shots.
Second opportunity for Brittany Brown. And she knocks down a triple and ties the game at 7.
Certainly when Oklahoma can score from the outside, it's going to open up that middle also for Courtney Paris. But Paris really playing the 4 spot right now. Preston down low.
And Griffin scores inside. So her 3-point play gave Nebraska their first points. She now has 5, and Nebraska retakes the lead.
One thing Connie Yori talked about is that we're giving up 60 to 80 pounds against Courtney Paris inside. So we've got to play smart defense and just pack it in there and double team.
From the wing, knocking down a triple is Laura Andrews. So 2 of the seniors that got the start this afternoon have now both scored for the Sooners, and it's a 10-9 Sooner advantage. Once again, down to the post it goes to Griffin. And she turns it over, stolen away by Paris. She averages 1.1 steals per game.
Just a good double team down low against Griffin and could not get the ball out quick enough.
An air ball caught on the far side by Rush.
But defensively, that's what Nebraska wants. They want to try and force the outside shot, and there's good weak side help by Hardy stealing that ball. Something
they worked on at shoot-around all morning. And in transition, Hardy hits. She now has 6, and Nebraska takes the lead back.
Well, Hardy's got that nice little floater, and that going on the left side, too. She's just got to keep her pants up.
Kiera Hardy.
Nice pass.
A 1,300-point scorer in Nebraska history in transition. Stops, pops, and cannot hit the triple, but an offensive rebound bounces right to Gerhardt and a fresh shot clock.
Good hustle by Kelsey Griffin, but she is huffing and puffing right now. That was a great effort to keep the ball alive, but look at her at the high post. She just, where's that energy going to come from?
And a steal by Andrews. And a foul at midcourt. Latoya Hall, no, they call it traveling. Brittany Brown turns it over. Crowd didn't like that call, as now here come the substitutions as Preston will sit down, as will Andrews. So the seniors come out, the regular starters come into the game for Oklahoma, but the seniors step it up certainly in the early going. It's not only Laura Andrews, but also Becky Preston knocking it down. Andrews as well. Nebraska, though, with a 1-point lead.
The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship coming in March.
How's the business?
We got new cars for our execs. What do you got?
We've got a secure network. We don't have to commute.
Check. Company barbecues?
Secure network. We commingle 24/7.
Yoga. Stress reduction.
Secure network. No stress. Check.
Espresso bar.
Checkmate.
Check.
Confidence, powered by Cisco.
This is the kitchen, bathrooms.
Hey, Gary.
Hey. Your new Trio 700, the first to run Windows mobile application, so it's as easy as working on your PC. And because it's from Verizon Wireless, you're on the nation's largest high-speed wireless broadband network. So your office is pretty much everywhere.
Pretty nice.
Get the Palm Trio 700W smartphone with Windows Mobile, broadband speed, and a $100 rebate. Only from Verizon Wireless. It's the network.
Okay, I open the thermocare box, and I think, wow, what is this? And while I'm wondering what a heat wrap does, I realize, whoa, it gets hot. Then I put it on my aching back, and it really starts to sink in. The heat, I mean. It's like a heating pad without the cord. It goes anywhere. Ah. And before long, my aching back is not aching anymore. I feel like I could do backflips. Bad idea.
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Cisco, changing the way people work, live, play, and learn. Innovation powered by Cisco. And in part by Verizon Wireless. Get the exclusive new Trio 700W with Windows Mobile.
Bob Wischusen and Myers back in Norman, Oklahoma. The seniors have given the Sooners the early lead. As right now, it's Nebraska actually up by a point, but on the bench a moment ago, Kelsey Griffin, the freshman from Alaska, who is the second leading scorer for Nebraska and the leading rebounder, really struggling as she is right now trying to play through mono. And she has been playing very limited minutes of late for the Huskers, and she already only a little over 4 minutes gone by, forced to head to the bench, and you can see the Huskers right now fighting through a variety of injuries.
Danielle Page, a sophomore, she's got a breathing ailment also, and then Jelena Spiric, who is a senior. They really thought that they would help her a lot at the point guard position. Then Heather Kephart, just too many foot and hip injuries.
Well, there's a freshman helping out, TK LaFleur, off the kick out from Aubrey. She hits a three, and it's a 4-point Huskers advantage.
The one thing Connie Yori talked about coming in here is that we got nothing to lose. Oklahoma's expected to beat us.
Welch fades away at the free throw line and comes up short. The rebound in traffic falls off to Aubrey as Chelsea Welch has now come on.
And Sherry Cole told us also that, you know, with this being the senior game, and there's another basket by Nebraska, being a senior game is very emotional. And the players, have they concentrated on those two seniors leaving, or they focused on this game?
A 7-0 run for Nebraska. The Huskers shooting 60% from the field, and they're on top by 6. From way outside, though, knocking one down is Erin Higgins.
Well, the thing is, you just can't panic right now if you're Oklahoma. Give credit to Nebraska, but Oklahoma started two seniors, and they've got players in Welch and Higgins that can knock the outside shot down and change the tempo of the game. And Courtney Paris has been very quiet, give credit to Nebraska, but also Oklahoma's been hitting their outside shots.
LaFleur gets caught along the baseline and turns it over. Higgins the other way off the steal in transition. Courtney Paris calling for the ball down on the blocks. Instead, it's Welch, but an offensive foul call. So the Sooners turn it over. It goes back to Nebraska. They have a 3-point lead. And, of course, with Kelsey Griffin on the bench, they're going to need some help down inside. As we remind you, tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN2, women's college basketball continues. A Big East showdown. Number 6, UConn hosts Cappy Poindexter and 8th-ranked Rutgers. Connecticut and Rutgers also available in high definition on ESPN2 HD. And for more information, you can log on to ESPN.com.
Cappy Poindexter having a great year. One of the 4 or 5 players up for Player of the Year. And certainly, we've never had a freshman get Player of the Year, but you've got to look at Courtney Paris's numbers.
An air ball from Kiera Hardy. It goes over to the Sooners. Although that doesn't do much to damage the shooting percentage for Nebraska, as they're shooting over 60% to start off. They're only 1 of 5 from behind the arc, but they're 7 of 11 from two-point land. And their hot shooting has given them a 3-point lead.
They're coming off that Oklahoma State game. In the first half, they shot 62% and led by 34. Oklahoma's got a lot of weapons, though, that different players scoring.
Down to 5 on the shot clock. They can't get the ball inside to Paris. Instead, it's Rush. She can't hit. Offensive rebound and a stick back. Chelsea Welch keeps it alive, and it's a 1-point game.
You know, people probably ask what happened to Oklahoma in the last couple of years, and they had a lot of injuries, and one of them was Chelsea Welch, who was co-freshman Player of the Year in the Big 12, tore her ACL.
She missed all of 2003-2004, and now a steal by Paris. Ahead of the field, Higgins for 3. Got it! Timeout, Nebraska. A 2-point lead for the Sooners as Welch and Higgins do the damage.
I know what you're thinking. You're thinking fries can't actually be crispy out of the microwave, but they are. All right, you think that was just a fluke, don't you? Try another one. Crispy. Impressive, huh?
Yeah.
Converting the ultimate skeptic. That's the Ore-Ida effect. Introducing Ore-Ida Easy Fries. In just 4 minutes, you're eating the first fries to get truly crispy in the microwave. Ore-Ida Easy Fries.
So far this season, in the 24 wins for Oklahoma, they've shot 37% from 3, and their 4 losses, 18%. Well, they're shooting 50% from three-point land to start off this afternoon's game.
And Higgins shoots over 38% from three-point land, shoots almost 6 threes a game.
A 2-point lead for the Sooners, but it has been hot shooting at 58% overall for Nebraska. Elena Diaz with a turnaround in the lane, and the rebound off to Ashley Paris, who has come on for the first time. So both of the Paris twins are now in. Ashley, you can see at the top of the key, and down in on the blocks is Courtney.
And there have not been a lot of rebounds in this game because both teams are shooting the ball so well. Courtney Paris only 1 rebound right now.
And you wonder, as the game progresses, if you're Nebraska, do you adopt, I guess to borrow the common NBA term, the hack-a-shack philosophy? Do you simply, as best you can, waste your fouls on both of the Paris twins? As hitting with the left hand is Courtney, because they both are going to shoot over 60% from inside from the field, but both are only 49% free throw shooters.
Well, you have to consider that at the end of the game, not right now for Nebraska. They've played pretty good defense, and if they can continue to hit their shots, they're in this game. Griffin with a nice dribble.
Griffin checks back in, makes something happen, lost it out of bounds, but it will stay Nebraska way, as right now Oklahoma is on a 10-0 run, and this is the Sooners' largest lead at 4 with 11:51 to go here in the first half. Both teams shooting very well from the field. Nebraska overall at 50% now, and Oklahoma at 54%. We'll step aside, and when we come back, we will look back at the magical Final Four run back in 2002 for the Lady Sooners.
This Alfredo reminds me of Mom's secret recipe. Oh, which she told me, by the way.
Yep, she told me too.
Me too.
Me too. No way.
It's Olive Garden's new Shrimp Scampi Alfredo with herb-seasoned shrimp and our homemade Alfredo sauce. Or try our delicious grilled chicken Alfredo. 2 great Alfredos, both served with warm breadsticks and our endless salad.
Well, she did tell me once I was her favorite.
Me too.
Me too.
Me too.
Olive Garden, when you're here, you're family.
It's jammed or something.
What are you doing?
Step back. What are you doing in my car?
Want to get away? Now you can. With Southwest Airlines Internet Specials, you can fly to 61 destinations coast to coast for just $49 to $159. Purchased by March 6th.
You are now free to move about the country.
The world may not come with an easy button, but your business does. It's called Staples.
The Sooners with a 4-point lead over the Huskers. 11:51 to go in the first half. You're looking at some of the members of the 2002 Final Four team for Oklahoma that went to the women's finals. And of course, our very own Stacey Dales had a lot to say about what happened that year for the Sooners. The 4th all-time scorer, leading scorer in Oklahoma history, the top all-time assist getter. Lanisha Caulfield had 4 steals. Rosalind Ross with 26 points and 10 rebounds in that game against Duke. The final was 86-71. And when we look now at the renaissance that has been the ladies program here in Oklahoma, back to 1990 when they averaged only 65 fans per game, all the way through now to Courtney Paris committing to Oklahoma, and they are now selling out the building.
Sherry Cole coached at Norman High School down the road, and Gino Ariema from Connecticut was very instrumental in coming in here to Oklahoma and saying she is the person for this job, and she has totally turned this program around. Again, a program that was going to be non-existent, taking women's basketball away from Oklahoma, and she's done a fantastic job. Her first recruit was Felicia Whalen, the all-time leading scorer here, and Courtney Paris has a great chance of breaking that record.
Paris down on the blocks, gets it to go. Largest lead for Oklahoma, now 6. We've had 6 different lead changes and 3 ties, but Oklahoma now in control as Paris picks up the foul, bumping Kelsey Griffin.
On the offensive end, you saw how strong Courtney Paris is. Gets a double team, has the presence of mind, getting good balance. Talked about her footwork, talked about very good hands. And when you've got Ashley and Courtney in there together, Sherry Cole talked about they're not as good defensively together. They're going to get better, but they know each other so well and know where they are on the floor. They'll pass the ball to each other.
Gerhardt got the offensive rebound of her own miss and then turned it over.
You know, a few sets of twins that come to mind, and there you go, Courtney to the basket again. That big, long step, catches it at the high post, and the ability to stretch it out into the lane. The defense is way too slow getting over there, but twins that come to mind are Kay and Faye Young at NC State. There she gets it, and look at the step. 3 players on her, she's bumped, and it shows you her strength too, Bob, as far as being able to finish shots. A lot of women are unable to finish shots when they get bumped inside like that.
She is now 0 for 3 at the line, though, so she has 6, and a blocking foul called on the far side as Hardy bowled over Brittany Brown.
And Sherry Cole standing right there saying, come on now. But how much room did Brown give for the turnaround? Well, there's a step there. There's a step there. But Kay and Faye Young at NC State played for Kay Yao. And then you had Pam and Paul McGee at USC, played with Cheryl Miller. They won 2 national championships. Kelly and Coco Miller at Georgia. Kelly was the player of the year. They both won the Sullivan Award.
Kelsey Griffin really struggling. Again, trying to fight through mononucleosis to play as best she can, as now Gerhardt will go to the line, but once again Griffin has gone to the bench. She averages 14 points per game. She also averages 6.5 rebounds per game. She's the leading rebound getter for her team and second only to Courtney Paris among Big 12 freshmen in scoring. But dealing with mono, she has now played 2 small segments here in the first half and gone to the bench twice. We have yet to even play 10 minutes of basketball, and she's already been substituted for twice.
This is only her 3rd game back after being diagnosed with the mononucleosis, and the last 2 out of 3 games coming into this game, she's scored single digits. So obviously they knew something was happening.
Leah Rush comes back on as Paris gets her first rest for the afternoon. So now it's only Ashley Paris of the Twins on the floor for the Sooners. Gerhardt interrupts what has been a big Oklahoma run. And Ashley Paris inside with the kick out. From way outside once again, Erin Higgins, and the rebound off as Danielle Page has it for Nebraska.
Higgins has already hit 5 of 9 3-pointers this year. Her high is 6.
Well, Erin Higgins is only a junior, but she's already the all-time leading 3-point shooter in Oklahoma history. She's 37% for her career. Tack on the one she has this afternoon. She's 1 3-pointer away from hitting her 200th. She will be here next year, so by the time she leaves, well, it's going to look like a pretty unbreakable 3-point record here at Oklahoma.
And she had 77 consecutive starts broken tonight because of the senior situation.
The lob inside looking for Ashley Paris. She has it. Her shot partially blocked, and it's pulled down by Danielle Page. Crowd wanted a call. None was coming. The skip pass finds TK LaFleur. As we are now midway through the first half, and it has been a good one so far. Oklahoma with the 24-18 lead.
And number 45, Chelsea Aubry, played for the Canadian national team. She's kind of had to play out of position, but I tell you, when you got shooters like TK LaFleur coming off the bench helping, that's going to be a plus for Nebraska.
LaFleur is 2 for 2. She now has 5, and it's a 4-point lead for the Sooners. .15 on the shot clock as Kendra Moore operates, penetrates, and hits the side of the backboard. Transition the other way for Ashley Ford, but she wisely pulls up 1-on-4.
Even as much as Oklahoma has other players scoring, I think Nebraska's doing a good job keeping the ball out of the middle.
Well, that one was well down inside the cylinder for Chelsea Aubry, but it caroms back out. And the shooting percentage has now dropped for Nebraska, off to a great start early on. They're now at 44%.
Nebraska has stayed in this 2-3 zone, just kind of sagging down, forcing the outside shots.
Offensive rebound for Ashley Parrish. Can't get it to go. And TK LaFleur has the rebound for the Huskers.
Well, the one thing out of that zone, Nebraska, if they can continue to get some defensive rebounds and push the ball up, that's going to hurt Oklahoma. Nice defense by Welch.
A steal, but then a give back. So Aubry has it right back for the Huskers. And with 8:25 to go in the first half, Nebraska hanging in there in a game that I'm sure their fans would be happy to see them very much in with, say, 8 to 10 minutes to go. Well, they are certainly in it right now with TK LaFleur handing it down to Page. Her turnaround is no good, and Welch has the rebound. Welch finds Paris. The pull-up in the lane is good. So Ashley Paris scores for the first time.
Oklahoma played Baylor here at home, winning in overtime. Baylor was picked to come in first in the Big 12, but has lost twice to Oklahoma already.
An air ball thrown up by Ashley Ford, out of bounds, and it will go over to Oklahoma when we come back. The other Paris getting the job done. Imagine you get Courtney Paris to come to your school and you get another sister just like her. Amazing.
What you do for a living has little to do with being alive. Easy drinking Busch Light. Busch. Head for the mountains of Busch.
We're the Blue Hearts at the University of Kentucky. Before every game, we wait in line all night. We'll start putting on war paint and we'll kilt up. We'll get ready to go into the next battle and hopefully bring home the victory.
ESPN College Game Day, fueled by Diet Dude, Saturdays at 11 and 8 on ESPN.
Have Charter Digital? Then you have On Demand with access to a variety of free programs and information. Just go to channel 999 and look for a special category called I Want More.
Now's your chance to catch the latest episodes of Simply Fishing whenever and wherever you like on channel 999 under the I Want More category. Watch as the team pursue trophy game fish from Brazil to Alaska. Simply Fishing. Available on Charter Main Street and on demand on channel 999.
Go to channel 999 and select I Want More.
Make a smooth approach. Make smooth contact with Electric Shave Pre-Shave Lotion. Stands up whiskers for up to a 52% closer shave. Electric Shave. Blade close, electric smooth.
Introducing Aqua Velva Ice Balm Aftershave. Alcohol-free, vitamin-infused, it firms and tones skin. New Aqua Velva Ice Balm with a fresh, clean scent. Skincare from A to V.
Trey Wingo here in our college basketball studios, updating you on the Big Ten. How about Indiana taking out Michigan State at home? Marshall Strickland, dribble drive, three-point play. Indiana wins it 78-71. Let's send it back to you, Bob and Ann.
All right, Trey, thanks very much. The Oklahoma women's basketball program already the Big 12 regular season champions. They have clinched the regular season title. They actually put it in their game notes that they will be cutting down the nets after the game this afternoon, although Kelsey Griffin doing the best she can to keep her team in the game. She's only averaging 8.7 points and 4.3 rebounds the last 3 games, of course, fighting through mono. And this now in the first 13 minutes of this afternoon's game, the 3rd time that she has checked back in after being substituted for.
And as you had mentioned, how does Kelsey Griffin from Eagle Rock, Alaska get to Nebraska? And Cindy Fisher, who was an assistant for Connie Yori, first recruited her, and they got in from the very beginning.
Offensive rebound off the Higgins miss and a putback for Ashley Paris. As we are here at the Lloyd Noble Center in Norman, Oklahoma. Number 9 Oklahoma taking on Nebraska. I'm Bob Wischusen alongside Ann Myers. Thanks so much for joining us. Oklahoma hot shooting from behind the arc, and right now they are shooting 46% to the 40% for Nebraska. And the Big 12 regular season champions have the lead, and here in transition, Andrews, beautiful feet underneath, and Higgins lays it home.
Last year, Nebraska beat Oklahoma by 20 points because Oklahoma was 2 of 22 from three-point range, shooting 29% in that game. A complete different team this year for Oklahoma.
Largest lead for the Sooners, and a miss on the far side as Sarah White was unable to connect, but it's still Nebraska basketball out off of Ashley Paris. But in transition, what a look from Laura Andrews.
Sherry Cole talked about pushing the ball against Nebraska. Nebraska is a team that likes to run, but they're going to slow it up against this Oklahoma team because athletically, they do have an advantage over Nebraska.
As you would expect, Oklahoma with an advantage in the paint.
Yeah, but Nebraska's staying right there because a lot of it, the dribble penetration, they've gotten inside the lane with their guards, and they've gotten some good passes.
Griffith in the paint, can't get it to go, and Ashley Paris tips the basketball right back to herself. A very nifty rebound. She averages about 7 rebounds per game. She's in the top 10 of the Big 12 in rebounding as well, but the Sooners turn it over. And tomorrow, Big Monday continues. 3 games on ESPN and ESPN2. First at 7 Eastern, it's a backyard brawl. Number 15 West Virginia hosts Pitt. Then at 9 Eastern, Oklahoma State and 20th ranked Oklahoma right here in Norman. And finally at midnight, ESPN2 will have Boise State battling Fresno State. Big Monday presented by Bud Light on ESPN and ESPN2. For more information, log on to ESPN.com.
Kevin Bookout having a huge game for Oklahoma in a 1-point victory against Kansas State yesterday.
A miss from Kiera Hardy, and the rebound off to Leah Rush.
And Kelvin Sampson says, hey, they're 1-point victories their last 3 games, but we're winning. And that'll carry him into the NCAA tournament.
I'm not sure if those 1-point losses ever made Mike Bray feel any better at Notre Dame as Paris is fouled inside. So Ashley will head to the line, and this has been a long rest that they have been able to buy Courtney Paris. She's been on the bench now for at least the last 4 or 5 minutes.
Griffin trying to front over on Ashley Paris, and the weak side defense by Sarah White too late getting over there.
But a miss at the line for Ashley Paris, as she is only a 49% free throw shooter as well. So Courtney Paris on the bench. She's 0 for 3 at the line. And now her sister is 0 for 1 as Krista Sanchez comes on and Leah Rush sits down.
Well, there's a quote in one of the articles that Ashley Paris says to her sister Courtney, how can you be my idol when you're not a clutch player at the free throw line? You got to come up with those clutch free throws.
Kiera Hardy with 6 points very early on. She has not scored in about the last 10 minutes. And it has been balanced in the rebounding and assist categories. Largest lead for Oklahoma right now is 11. From the corner, a little strong Sarah White. The back tap, though, and White runs it down.
Oklahoma staying in that 2-3 zone, forcing those outside shots. What a shot.
That was from NBA range as Hardy couldn't hit, but another long rebound bounces out to White. And now from the wing, persistence pays off as Jessica Gerhardt hits a 2.
That's great if you can get those offensive rebounds, and you know Hardy's going to put up shots, and she puts up about 17 shots a game.
Courtney Paris leads in scoring. Ashley Paris leads in rebounding. And down low, it's Ashley Paris, and that was way too easy. Penetrating Latoya Howe, and she draws contact. So Howe will head to the free throw line with 4:13 remaining here in the first half. And again, the atmosphere is so wonderful here on the Oklahoma campus, as now the women's basketball program has become just as much a headline grabber as the men's basketball program has traditionally been. They are a perennial NCAA tournament team, and this is the third time now ever that they have sold this building out, but all 3 sellouts have been in the last season and a half.
Well, last year they had Tennessee, this year against Baylor, but also go back to 2000, they sold out against Connecticut.
1 of 2 at the line for Howell, and it goes back over to Oklahoma, as once again Kelsey Griffin has been forced to the bench. So it seems as if, and she's only able to manage 3 and 4 minutes of game action at a time before she then needs a 3 to 4 minute rest.
She averages about 25, 26 minutes a game, and it certainly is tough when you cannot get your breath.
Kendra Moore misses inside, and Howell pushes tempo. Hardy penetrates, and she's hand-checked on the floor.
Yeah, the coaches at Nebraska have talked about Latoya Howell wanting her to score more at 5'5", because she averaged 17 points at Air Force.
Oklahoma is over the foul limit. Kiera Hardy will shoot free throws when we come back with Nebraska down 10.
Big 12 title this season. Make sure you can.
Right here, this is MSG. We call it the Garden. Just tragedy everywhere. It's something that you want to get your family away from. That's what I'm trying to do.
My brother's about to do something that a lot of people ain't gonna get a chance to do.
The pro scouts made me a little uneasy.
The word is that you're going to the NBA. You don't listen to that.
ESPN Original Entertainment presents the defining year of Sebastian Telfair.
Going all out for me, my family, and my team.
Through the Fire. Premieres Sunday, March 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN.
I thought we were here for a meeting.
We are.
So why are you on your laptop?
I'm emailing you. Check your inbox.
Now?
Now.
We can talk. It's a private club.
As private as our network.
I'll check my inbox.
Privacy. Powered by Cisco.
That's me, Andy. And it's my 10th day with Prilosec OTC. I love that it started to work on my frequent heartburn the first day. I can get 0 heartburn for 24 hours with 1 pill a day. So what day are you on?
Good news, I got us on the family share plan. Each of you gets a Verizon wireless phone, so whenever you go out, you'll have the network. When you guys go to the mall,
we'll have the network.
And when you go wherever it is that you go.
I'll have the network.
There's only one family share plan that also has the nation's most reliable wireless network. Now buy a Samsung A850 camera phone and get a second camera phone free. Verizon Wireless. It's the network.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash.
Don't give me no rules. All I got are rules.
Joaquin Phoenix, Reese Witherspoon, Walk the Line. Own it Tuesday.
Trey Wingo here with Carol Lawson. Coming up at the half, we'll tell you why Oklahoma's conference dominance may not be as strong as you think. Plus, there is a dominant conference out there.
Well, there is. Without a doubt, it's the ACC. 3 teams, potentially #1 seeds.
That are stats that matter. We'll have those for you in just a little bit. Meanwhile, let's send you back to the first half conclusion at the Lloyd Noble Center. Bob and Ann, take it away.
A 10-point lead for 9th-ranked Oklahoma over Nebraska. As this is Judgment Week presented by Cisco Systems. On the bench right now is Ashley Paris, but she has done plenty to help out her twin sister Courtney inside.
Now, coming in this year, we talked about the high-low because of the ability of the inside play. There you see Kendra Moore going over the top. You've got 2 players down low. Ashley Paris is able to hold on to that basketball, but you're going to see a lot of that, not only from the guard play that far out, but also from the high-low off swinging back to the strong side when you get a high post situation. That's what Sherry Cole talked about. Ashley Paris, who's sitting next to her right now, that next year she is going to be so good as far as that high post position, facing the basket. She's a little bit better facing the basket than Courtney Paris is, because Courtney usually is just down low near the basket. Ashley will come away from the basket a little bit more.
It's amazing when you think of it. Of course, these twins are the daughters of Bubba Paris, who played in the National Football League and won 3 Super Bowls with the San Francisco 49ers, an NFL All-Pro.
And Lynn Harris, don't forget their mom.
That's right. That's why we have the mom here. Thanks very much.
Well, she tells us at times the two of them would play basketball in the kitchen. They've still got marks all over the kitchen from going one-on-one, and they've got 4 brothers.
Courtney too high off the glass, and the rebound falls off to Chelsea Aubry. Nebraska started the game hot shooting, but they have been cold since. And with just over 3 minutes to go here in the first half, they trail 33-25, but certainly keeping the game and keeping Oklahoma in contact.
Well, a lot of that has to do with Oklahoma's defense. They've been switching up from the zone, and now they're back into the man-to-man. You can see the shot clock is down, and Nebraska has not made the adjustment.
A pump fake inside, missing Danielle Page, but she works hard to grab the loose ball. And a timeout called by Nebraska. So an alert call as Nebraska gets the timeout call. So they will maintain possession with basically a fresh shot clock.
That was a good hustle play by Danielle Page. The 6'2 sophomore gets the shot blocked there. She goes down on the ground, and the outside player is called the timeout.
And a reminder, tomorrow night at 7:30 on ESPN2, women's college basketball continues with a Big East showdown. Number 6 UConn taking on the 8th-ranked Scarlet Knights. It's Connecticut and Rutgers at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN2. ESPN, the exclusive home of the Women's NCAA Championship. And obviously a very important game. It's the top 2 teams in the Big East standings on the women's side.
Connecticut had a good win yesterday against Marquette. DePaul having a really terrific year with Harris Smith, Doug Bruno's team.
And in many ways, Judgment Week is not just about who is going to make the NCAA tournament, but where you're going to be seated and what region you are going to play in. And that game between UConn and Rutgers could go a long way towards saying where those 2 teams are going to be playing. Coming up next month, the miss inside as Gerhardt couldn't connect.
Well, that was a nice pass by Hardy. She got in the lane, but again, you've got to finish those shots when you get that tight to the basket.
Sanchez skips, penetrating and having her shot rejected is Kendra Moore. Back the other way comes Latoya Howe. Howe picks up her dribble, almost lost it. Courtney Paris deflected it. It's a held ball, and it stays Nebraska's way.
Now that's a tough decision right there for Howe to pick up her dribble. Because on the defensive end, you see the nice block right there, and they're off and running. Howell doesn't have it, but bring it all the way back out. But she stops as your point guard right here. You don't pick up the dribble right here, and then all of a sudden you got Paris on you. It's kind of tough with those big paws.
The Huskers trailing by only 8 with 2:18 to go here in the first half.
Remember, Courtney Paris has 20 straight double-doubles.
Courtney Paris is sat back down as Ashley Paris is back in the game.
Courtney's got 6 points and 2 rebounds at this point.
7 on the shot clock as Hardy penetrates. An offensive foul call. Stepping up to take the charge was Kendra Moore.
And that's what Sherry Cole calls the big-time efficiency points. Taking charges, getting deflections, doing the little things.
Now let's take a look at Nebraska's tournament resume. And really, when you look at their RPI at 77, schedule strength, pardon me, at 67, 0-5 against ranked opponents. To make the NCAA tournament, it turns this afternoon for the Huskers into a must-win, doesn't it?
It certainly does, especially against a ranked team. And they finished 18-14 last year, same as Oklahoma, tied with them. Yet Oklahoma went to the NCAA tournament, and Nebraska was the WNIT.
90 seconds remaining in the first half. The first half that Oklahoma has led by as many as 11, but the lead right now only 8. Down to 8 on the shot clock. LaFleur a kick out. Howell has her shot blocked. 2 seconds on the shot clock, and this will be a shot clock violation.
Great hustle play by Kendra Moore. She was the state champion second in high jump and long jump. So as much as Howell looked like she was wide open in that corner, how quickly Moore was able to get there, and great height to get it blocked.
post. Leah Rush fades away and knocks it down. So she, coming back from last season, was the leading returning scorer for Oklahoma, but she has, as the consummate team player, had her role reduced by the arrival of the Paris twins, and for all the better for Oklahoma.
Well, one of the reasons she was at the post last year, and she's had to adjust to that 3-4 spot. So her number's down a little bit, but she still has great leadership.
Rush in transition, wisely holds it up. There's about a 1.5 second differential between shot clock and game clock as Rush goes to the basket, can't get it to go, and an offensive foul call. That's a big call as Latoya Howell takes the charge. And Rush is charged with her first personal, and a chance now for Nebraska to hold for one.
You got to like the aggressive play by Rush taking it to the basket, but certainly Sherry Cole was not happy as far as the out-of-control situation and getting called for the charge.
For all intent and purposes, Oklahoma could have held for the final shot of the first half. And instead, Rush forces the issue and draws the charge. Down to 5 seconds to go. Howell hands off to Gerhardt. 2 seconds to go. Can't get the roll. Paris with the rebound. And we have reached the halftime break. A 10-point lead for Oklahoma. Courtney Paris, well below what would be her normal average. She averages 21 points per game and 15 rebounds per game. Only 6 points in the first half. But after all is said and done, the Oklahoma Sooners lead the Nebraska Cornhuskers 35-25. Back to the studio now, and Trey Wingo.
Bob and Ann, thanks very much. Welcome into our college basketball studios. Trey Wingo here with Kara Lawson. Kara, Oklahoma scoring 35 points. They lead by 10. Nebraska shooting less than 30% in the first half. How are they hanging in this game?
Well, I think it's defensively. I mean, you look at what they've been able to do to Courtney Paris, doubling her as soon as she gets the basketball, forcing her to kick out, forcing some turnovers early on, and having active hands defensively. That's helped keep them in the game. Another thing that's helped keep them in the game, Courtney Paris was on the bench for a good part of that first half. I anticipate she'll play more in the second half, and they'll stretch out the lead. 5
shots in the first half, well below Courtney Paris' season average. We'll see if she can pick that up in the second half. Oklahoma can extend that lead over Nebraska. You never know when you put Oklahoma and Nebraska. It doesn't matter what sport, what gender. These two schools genuinely dislike each other. We like each other. Lots more coming on the half as we turn ahead here and look forward, not backwards. We're going forward. Maryland, stats that matter or stats that don't matter, part of Judgment Week. Plus, we'll check in on the men. Big battle in the Big East. UConn and Villanova at Gamble. Can UConn avenge an early season loss to the Wildcats?
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lawrence. We lead, we find, you win.
So, honey, if you were going to be with one of my friends, who would it be?
Tell me. I'm not going to be mad. I'm just curious.
I just want to know which one you think is the hottest. Danielle? How about Abby?
Introducing high-endurance hair and body wash.
Is it Paige?
The first hair and body wash from Old Spice and the easiest way to get clean from head to toe. Don't you wish everything was this easy?
It's Paige, isn't it?
It's 60,000 miles and 14 lakes. It's about character and characters. It's about the one that got away and the one that didn't. This is The Trail, and it's brought to you by Citgo and our 13,000 retail locations. Citgo, fueling the greatest of American sports.
It's jammed or something.
What are you doing?
Step back.
Please.
What are you doing in my car?
Want to get away? Now you can. With Southwest Airlines Internet Specials, you can fly to 61 destinations coast to coast for just $49 to $159. Purchased by March 6th.
You are now free to move about the country.
We give you a great way to watch TV, a great way to surf the internet, and now a great way to get phone service.
It's here, Charter Telephone, with unlimited local and long-distance calls nationwide. All your favorite features you expect, and no new equipment needed. One low price, one great company, one bill.
It's a perfect call.
Charter Telephone. Make the connection. Keep your current phone number and get all your favorite phone features for less than $40 per month.
Hi everyone, Bob Mesocomer here, inviting you to join me each week as my guests and I pursue trophy game fish from Brazil to Alaska. Learn how, why, and when as we challenge nature's obstacles each week on rivers, lakes, and reservoirs for everything from bass and beyond. You won't believe your eyes. It's totally authentic, and it's Simply Fishing.
Watch Simply Fishing every Saturday and Sunday at 4:30 p.m. on Charter Main Street, Channel 18.
Welcome back to halftime. Trey and Kara here with studios as we are at halftime at the Lloyd Noble Center. Oklahoma leading Nebraska 35-25. We will get back to that game in the second half in just a minute. Meanwhile, in case you missed it on Saturday, great showdown between number 1 Duke and number 2 UNC. Ivory Latta, always the engine, and doing well. Ivory Latta with a block, Kara. When does that happen?
Well, she's the engine that drives that team. It's her emotion and her leadership that helps make them the best team in the country.
And then scary moment here. Watch Ivory come down, land on that right ankle. She appears to be in a bit of pain. She limps to the bench, had to be carried to the locker room, but she is nothing if not tough. She did return. Focus in on the shoes, please. It's got to be the shoes. She's ready to roll, and for the 55th straight game, that from way downtown, she hits a 3. She had 18 as North Carolina sweeps Duke for the season, 77-65 the final. They have now won 5 straight against Duke after losing 12 straight. That gives them the ACC title, and that leads us, Carol Lawson, to a little thing we like to call stats that matter. And stats that matter is the power of the ACC when you come tournament time.
Well, it really is, and you look at the talent at the top of that conference. The ACC, 3 teams, and that's my first number. 3, a stat that matters. The number of number 1 seeds the ACC deserves. You look at Duke, Carolina, and Maryland. They're 3 of the teams that are playing the best basketball in the country right now, and they deserve those number 1 seeds if the tournament started today. Next number is 6, and that's how many straight regular season titles the Stanford Cardinal have put together, and that's especially significant given the last couple years. The Pac-10 has been a lot better. 5-0 in the first round for the Pac-10 in last year's NCAA tournament. Then 570, and we learned this week that Marcia Sharp will resign at the end of this season. Led Texas Tech to the national championship in 1993, has built that program and that college into a tremendous power in terms of attendance there in West Texas. Everyone knows Marcia Sharp, a class lady. You talk to coaches around the country, everyone really respects how she won, not just the number of games that she won, but how she did it, and she did it with class.
A consecutive streak of 16 straight NCAA appearances could be on the line this year. 11 Sweet 16s. You mentioned the word resigning. She hit that word at her press conference. You think she'll coach again?
I think she will coach again. I mean, she's still young, 53, and there has been some talk of her health problems, but she made it a point to say she was resigning, not retiring, and I think she has a few more years left in that coaching body to still help and influence young women. But she did make a point, resigning, not retiring, so I think she'll surface again somewhere.
Well, the numbers, as you say, speak for themselves. 570 wins, 16 NCAA appearances, 11 Sweet 16s. Okay, those are stats that matter. But for every yin, there is a yang. And now the stats that don't matter, and those also start in the ACC.
Well, they start in the ACC, and the first stat is going to be the number 6, and that's 6 out of 7 for Maryland's top scorers. They're underclassmen. I'm going to tell you right now, that does not matter. The knock on Maryland all year has been their inexperience. Can they win the tournament? I'm going to take talent over experience, and you have big players out there that can make big plays. The second stat is 8, and that's the number of losses by Michigan State. You look at this team, a team that was in the national championship last year and lost. I take Bowen and Shimmick and the seniors and their leadership. I don't think those number of losses will matter come tournament time. They're a team that is tournament tested and can make a run. And in Oklahoma, the number is 0. And that's conference losses that they're able to hold up here in the second half against Nebraska. I don't think that matters if they lose in the Big 12 tournament. And let me tell you the context. We're talking about in the context of gaining a number 1 seed. Even though Oklahoma looks like they may go on to finish the regular season undefeated, to me, to get a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, you have to win the Big 12 Conference Championship.
That is an interesting observation because you're talking about a conference, the Big 12, that has the reigning national champion from Baylor. So what are you saying about the Big 12 by saying that stat, 0 conference losses, really is not that important?
Well, I don't think the Big 12 is as strong as it has been in years past. And you look at Texas and Texas Tech, mainly those 2 teams struggling as they have right now, really on the bubble. If the tournament started today, they probably would not make it. So I think the overall strength of the Big 12 has gone down. Baylor and Oklahoma, the class of that league. But I don't think just going undefeated in the regular season gets Oklahoma that number 1 seed. They've got to do their job in Dallas at the tournament.
Coming up the second half of our doubleheader today, you got Texas and Texas Tech, 2 teams that are fighting to get in. We'll see if they can make a stand for the Big 12. Plus, when we return on Judgment Week, we'll check in on the men, Nova and UConn at Gamble. UConn trying to avenge an earlier season loss. We'll have the highlights for you.
The world may not come with an easy button, but your business does. It's called Staples.
The Pittsburgh Steelers have won their 5th Super Bowl.
Touchdown, Pittsburgh!
Relive all the excitement of their championship season with Sports Illustrated and this must-have NFL Films DVD, The Pittsburgh Steelers Super Bowl 40 Champions. Plus, this Sports Illustrated hardcover commemorative book takes you inside the Steelers' unbelievable season with SI's best writing and photography. Both are free with your paid subscription to SI. Get 56 issues for only $1.59 an issue. Save 60% off the cover price. Use your credit card and get this collectible football honoring the champion Steelers. This exclusive keepsake features the scores from their entire season and includes a display stand and certificate of authenticity. Celebrate the Steelers' unforgettable victory with this fantastic SI Super Bowl championship package. Go to SIPittsburghoffer.com or call now to get the official Super Bowl DVD, the SI commemorative book, and the exclusive football, all free from SI.
Announcing an exciting price breakthrough on Baseball World's Defensive Drills video. This is the same baseball training video that has produced back-to-back AAU national championship teams and earned a gold medal in the Pan America Games versus Cuba. Now, for the first time, Coach Emansky's Defensive Drills video is available on DVD for only $19.95. This is a must for coaches and players that want results. It makes a great gift and is available now for only $19.95, a 33% savings if you call now.
I'm so impressed with the instructional videos by Coach Emansky that I've given them my full endorsement. When you watch them, you'll know why.
Call now, 1-800-233-0500. That's 1-800-233-0500. Have your credit card ready and order your copy for the first time at only $19.95 by calling this toll-free number now.
Checking in on a great men's college game. Number 2 Nova at Gamble taking on 4th-ranked UConn. Early first half, Rudy Gay 1, 2, 3 for me. UConn goes up by 4. Just a little later, Rudy Gay poked in the eye underneath. Ow! Forced to leave the game. Doctors looked at the eye on the bench. He would come back. Now midway through the first, Allen Ray. This is, well, if you get fouled, just throw it up. Sometimes it goes in. Nice bucket. 4-point lead for Nova. But now UConn closing on a 10-2 run. Rashad Anderson hits a 3. It is a 3-point game at the break. UConn on top. Meanwhile, Ohio State brought into Penn State a 15-game winning streak, and Brianna O'Rourke simply didn't care. That's a 3. They were up 12-0. They were pitching a shutout, and then O'Rourke will eventually hit another 3. They go up 17-3, and right now, however, Ohio State has battled back. Believe it or not, it's only a 3-point game at this point. You knew they would come to play eventually. 28-25. Jessica Davenport, a big reason why, 16 points. Meanwhile, Maryland taking out North Colorado right now, 49-28. Doran one free throw shy of breaking the school's all-time record of 386. We are at the half. Courtney Paris in Oklahoma held in check for the most part, but when she gets the bucket, she makes it go. It's a 10-point lead. Second half coming up in just a minute.
How's business?
We got new cars for our execs. What do you got?
We've got a secure network. We don't have to commute. Check.
Company barbecues?
Secure network. We commingle 24/7.
Yoga. Stress reduction.
Secure network. No stress. Check.
Espresso bar.
Checkmate.
Check.
Confidence, powered by Cisco.
Sweetheart Brownie Blast. Sonic's got it, others don't. Treat your sweetheart to the sweet taste of chocolate brownies and cherries blended into a creamy frozen treat. Sonic's new Sweetheart Brownie Blast. And now swipe a credit or My Sonic card from your car. Only at Sonic.
Who's doubling the amount of their federal refund at H&R Block? Barbara doubled her refund to over $7,000. Kara doubled hers to over $9,000. You could too. Play for your chance to double your refund or win one of a million other prizes. H&R Block, in your corner.
Starting a new garden doesn't have to be backbreaking. Not when you have the Mantis Tiller Cultivator. It does all the hard work for you. The powerful two-cycle engine spins the patented tines deep into the soil. It cuts through the hardest clay and tangled weeds, yet maneuvers nimbly through the tightest spaces. Now get this amazing Mantis at huge factory direct savings. Plus, we'll give you this border edger free. Call now for complete information.
1-800-344-8300.
Everything's possible with a Hover-Round. If you have mobility problems, there's really only one solution. Hover-Round. It's your #1 choice for go-everywhere mobility, comfort, and portability.
The Hover-Round allows me the freedom to live on my own.
With our unique design, you can navigate even the smallest spaces in your home with ease. And when it comes to all-day comfort, no other seat comes close. Plus, a Hover-Round is portable. You can go anywhere, even the Grand Canyon. Call for your free information and video. Everything's possible with a Hover-Round. We'll answer your questions and work with your doctor, Medicare, and insurance company. And can even bring a Hover-Round to your home for a test drive. So you can own a Hover-Round at little or no cost to you.
It didn't cost me one single penny, and I now have my Hover-Round.
So call 1-800-859-2299. There's no obligation. That's 1-800-859-2299. Call now.
Why?
We return to Judgment Week presented by Cisco Systems as the Sooners have a 10-point lead over the Cornhuskers. Set for the start of the second half. Bob Wischusen and Andy Myers welcoming you back to Norman, Oklahoma. And in the first half, a hot shooting start for Nebraska. They couldn't sustain it. Still only down 10.
Well, it really was. Nebraska stayed right there, and Oklahoma got a little bit late start, and maybe that had to do with starting the two seniors, a different lineup for Oklahoma. But they started out where the seniors, you see Laura Andrews knocking down an outside shot, and then they get nice out-of-bounds play for Courtney Paris inside. She was 3 of 5 in the first half, and then Ashley Paris off the bench was 3 of 6 for 7 points and 6 rebounds. Then for Nebraska, Kelsey Griffin, we talked about her mononucleosis, it's really bothered her. Only 2 for 7 from the floor, and then off the bench, TK LaFleur, who was struggling from three-point range coming into this game, only 1 of 12. And then she knocked out a couple big shots for Nebraska to try and keep it close.
Although Nebraska 1 for 10 from three-point land in the first half. If they are to beat Oklahoma on the road, they'll have to, you would think, for the game at least live up to their normal three-point shooting percentage. Normally, as a team, they shoot in the mid-30s.
They're missing a lot of open shots. They only had 4 assists in that first half, and you're not going to win when you don't pass the ball. They're going to call a jump ball off the block on Courtney Paris that time. But we talked about that high-low play that Oklahoma runs, and a lot of it has to do with Ashley and Courtney Paris. You see their numbers there. They're both shooting 50% or better.
Well, Courtney Paris is the National Player of the Year candidate, but it was Ashley Paris that did most of the damage of the first half for the Sooners. Backdoor cut, going to the basket and missing was Kiera Hardy. A nice bounce pass from Kelsey Griffin. Hardy could not convert.
Well, they ran the nice play, but they're just, as you said, Bob, they're not converting their plays, and they're getting some shots, and it's not going in. You've got to knock those shots down against a team like Oklahoma.
Tough shot hit by Chelsea Welsh after a deflected ball caromed right to her. And this is the largest lead for Oklahoma. The Sooners this year are 20-2 when leading at halftime.
You know, Welsh just gives you such a great dimension at 5'9". She can go to the basket. She's got a great turnaround, as we just saw. Put the ball on the floor, shoot the three.
10 seconds on the shot clock. Penetration, and again, not converting inside was Chelsea Aubry as she was set up by LaToya Howell. Welsh throws one into traffic. It's deflected out of bounds.
The one thing when you have somebody like Courtney Paris who runs the floor so well, as Ashley does, you just throw it. You just, as Welsh did that time, and Courtney Paris got a hand on it.
Well, right now she's working on a Big 12 record streak of 20 consecutive double-doubles, but only 6 points and 2 rebounds in the first half. Again, they send it down low to her, and this time she puts it home. So Courtney Paris now has 8, and it's the largest lead for Oklahoma as they build up to a 14-point advantage.
And she leads the Big 12 in field goal percentage at over 61%. That is 6th in the nation. And then you get somebody like Kelsey Griffin, who's 2nd in the Big 12 in field goal percentage, and we saw that she just cannot get the ball to fall for her.
8 on the shot clock. Griffith inside, blocked by Paris and stolen away. In transition, it's Welch to the basket and scores. Timeout, Nebraska. The Huskers in danger of being run out of the building in Norman. A 16-point lead for the Sooners. Barely 2 minutes gone by here in the second half.
Well, coming into this game, I talked to Connie Uri, and she said, look, we got to go inside. That's one of our strengths. I told the kids we can't worry about shots getting blocked. Well, the one thing is, that's easy to say, but sometimes it can demoralize you too. And it gets Oklahoma on the running game right here.
Courtney Paris, a tower inside. Didn't even leave her feet as she sets up the transition opportunity the other way for Welch.
NCAA Women's Basketball Championship coming in March.
It's jammed or something.
What are you doing?
Step back. What are you doing in my car?
Want to get away? Now you can. With Southwest Airlines Internet Specials, you can fly to 61 destinations coast to coast for just $49 to $159. Purchased by March 6th.
You are now free to move about the country.
The #1 site for independent music. Now, get 25 free iPod-compatible downloads just for trying us out.
Own a timeshare or campground membership? Turn it into cash.
Timeshares Only got us our full asking price before our next monthly payment was due.
Timeshares Only is the nation's largest, #1 most successful timeshare agency, representing properties from the biggest names in the industry.
No one sells more timeshares.
Call now and receive a free information kit, including 10 secrets to timeshares. You owe it to yourself to work with the best.
Don't delay. Call 1-800-344-8300.
Bob Wischusen, Ann Myers back here in Norman. And Annie, in the first half, you illustrated how effective that high-low game for Oklahoma can be.
Sherry Cole in practice yesterday talked about spacing. We're going to see the pass, but look at Hardy there on the weak side. And what Oklahoma does so well, the pass is going to go down low, and there's no weak side help because of the spacing and the clear out. Hardy is way too late. She still won in the first half, but that time the execution by Oklahoma was much better.
Nebraska needs some baskets in a hurry in order to get themselves back in the game and get the game back to the point where it's somewhat manageable, as Chelsea Welch is called for a blocking foul.
And we talked about the consistency that not only Courtney Paris has, but also this Oklahoma team has. They really feed off each other. We talked about the chemistry. Right now, Nebraska, Bob, they look like they're out of it. I mean, Howell, to me, she's the point guard. She's got to take charge. We talked about her leadership when she was at Air Force. She was a scorer. She's not a scorer here, but she's got to set people up. And just even off that foul, which against Oklahoma, just the body language that Nebraska has.
Griffin with a ball fake, comes across the lane, forces it up, offensive foul. So Kelsey Griffin picks up the personal.
So foul charged to number 23, Kelsey Griffin.
That's her first.
Good drive by Griffin, but then you see the defensive play by Oklahoma just getting good position to take the charge. And that we talked about some of the things that Sherry Cole likes to do. They give the Lauren Schausch Award. It's the Hustle Award after every game, and the kind of little things that players do for Oklahoma, and who's going to stand out with the Hustle Awards.
17:24 remaining in the second half, and Oklahoma dominating on the scoreboard, up by 16. Courtney Paris now to the line to shoot a pair. The only blemish on her resume so far this season is poor free throw shooting. You can see Oklahoma not only dominating on the scoreboard, but also dominating on the hustle board. And this is stats that they keep here inside Oklahoma's home building. And the Sooners right now leading in blocks, leading in rebounds, leading in steals, leading in assists, and that plays into what you were talking about, the Schausch Award that is given out individually to a player that they feel dominates the hustle stats. But as a team, they also keep those statistics for the fans here. And Oklahoma across the board is winning every hustle battle. A block inside, the 5th of the game for the Sooners, and the 3rd of the game for Courtney Paris.
Courtney Paris coming into this game had 85 blocks.
From the baseline, Rush can't hit. The long rebound tapped by Paris to herself. She'll try a long-range jumper. Oh, she got so excited she grabbed her
and look
the
at
loose
the coaches.
ball.
Look at the coaches for Oklahoma. Sherry Cole's like just laughing, and they can do that right now because of the kind of lead they have, but you love the way she plays with the intensity. And I think that's the one thing that kind of sets her apart as far as the top 2 centers in the country, I think, are Courtney Paris and Sylvia Fowles from LSU. But the block, and then gets the ball back, and she knocks it away, knocks it to herself. Just look at how big her hands are, how athletic she is, and her tenacity to go after it. And you see Sherry Cole and the rest of the bench was kind of laughing a little bit.
Well, the whole bench was laughing as Courtney Paris came down the court, all pointing at her, and she was laughing as well.
She has the ability to handle the ball, do a lot of different things. And one of the things coming in this season, the strength coach, Tim Overman, said she is not using 80% of her strength.
Wow.
It's untapped, and she and her sister lost a bunch of weight coming in, but Leah Rush with a nice outside shot.
A 20-point lead for the Sooners as Rush connects from downtown.
If you saw the Paris twins play last year in high school, they were heavier, and that's the one thing I saw differently when they came in this season. They did extra cardio, and they lost 20 to 30 pounds.
Missing inside LaFleur, an OU run that has reached 10-0, and it could be more. Brown pulls it out. It's amazing to me when you think about the impact that just recruiting a Courtney Paris will have on your program, and to get Ashley to come along with her as a tandem deal. It's like going and recruiting Shaquille O'Neal and having Shaq turn around and say, do you mind if my friend Charles Barkley comes along for the ride?
The thing is, Bob, when you recruit twins, there are programs this year that did not recruit both of them. They only recruited Courtney, did not recruit Ashley, and I don't think it's very smart that you don't recruit both of them, because there's such a sense of, comfortableness being around each other. We talked about how many twins there have been, and we'll talk about it later.
Not to mention the fact that Ashley Paris is in the top 10 in the Big 12 in rebounding, along with Courtney Paris, who leads in scoring, rebounding, and blocks. Back in a moment.
Someday, someone will put together one truly seamless local-to-global IP network. One that works alongside America's most reliable wireless network. Someday your network will come with every piece of the solution that you need, including the most important piece, people. People who are accountable for your business. Someday, all the pieces will come together, and it will be magnificent. Someday is today. Verizon has joined with MCI to form Verizon Business. Now you'll look at all your business communications and say, that works. Verizon Business. We never stop evolving, improving, perfecting. We never stop working for you.
The Pittsburgh Steelers have won their 5th Super Bowl.
Touchdown, Pittsburgh!
Relive all the excitement of their championship season with Sports Illustrated and this must-have NFL Films DVD, The Pittsburgh Steelers Super Bowl 40 Champions. Plus, this Sports Illustrated hardcover commemorative book takes you inside the Steelers' unbelievable season with SI's best writing and photography. Both are free with your paid subscription to SI. Get 56 issues for only $1.59 an issue. Save 60% off the cover price. Use your credit card and get this collectible football honoring the champion Steelers. This exclusive keepsake features the scores from their entire season and includes a display stand and certificate of authenticity. Celebrate the Steelers' unforgettable victory with this fantastic SI Super Bowl championship package. Go to SIPittsburghoffer.com or call now to get the official Super Bowl DVD, the SI commemorative book, and the exclusive football, all free from SI.
Oklahoma is more talented certainly than Nebraska, but right now out hustling the Huskers en route to a 20-point lead. And speaking of hustle, well, that young lady right there, Lauren Schausch, who was a part of the Final Four team for the Sooners back in 2002, they have named the Schausch Award for extra hustle and effort after a former player for Sherry Cole. She's on hand this afternoon, and well, there are a lot of candidates that could win that award today for Oklahoma as Courtney Paris tries to bank one home, and again a back tap by Leah Rush, keeping it alive.
Just look like back volleyball tips.
Well, Leah Rush has done that several times today, keeping plays alive on the offensive end just with back taps, if not grabbing and running down a loose ball on her own.
The one thing that Sherry Cole talks about Leah Rush's game is that she's such a fighter. She knows the technical aspects of the game.
Down to the floor after the basketball goes Danielle Page. Crowd wanted to travel. It has been a rough go for Nebraska after a hot start. 0 for 5 with 2 turnovers this half. We played more than 5 minutes and make it 0 for 6 and add on another block shot for Oklahoma.
Yeah, Nebraska really having a tough time taking care of the basketball, getting any kind of good shots, and Oklahoma just dominating right now. Nebraska just wants to make it very difficult for Oklahoma to get the ball inside, but that's tough to do against Courtney Paris.
Well, she misses that one. Once again, it's Danielle Page with the rebound. TK LaFleur penetrates, puts it on the floor, and is tied up. A held ball as Courtney Paris gets back in transition defense and forces the jump. The possession arrow belongs to Nebraska.
And that's the second or third time Courtney Paris has come into the play from behind late, and she is so strong. She just tears this ball out of LaFleur's hands. But not to be aware of the opposing center to come down the court, you as a guard, you've got to be able to attack 5-on-4, or at least get out of the middle of the lane away from the center.
Ashley Paris has come back on. Aubry tries a 3. Offensive rebound for Griffin, who kicks it back out. Ford picks up her dribble. Aubry will try again. This time connects. A floater in the lane for Chelsea Aubry, who grew up in Kitchener, Ontario. The other way with an easy 2 inside, Chelsea Welch.
Well, just such a good athlete. I mean, she really makes things happen because another smart player. Defensively, she knows where to be on the floor. There, she's got a mismatch right there, but she got help. Just the way she forced Aubry out a little bit further from where she wanted to take the shot.
Chelsea Aubry will go to the line, and a reminder, tomorrow Big Monday continues with 3 games on ESPN and ESPN2. First at 7 Eastern on ESPN, the Backyard Brawl as number 15 West Virginia hosts Pittsburgh. Then at 9 Eastern, in-state rivals collide, Oklahoma State and the 20th ranked Sooners right here in Norman. And then finally at midnight, Boise State and Fresno State on ESPN2. In the Big 12 standings, as things stand right now, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State on different ends of the bracket. Texas and Kansas at the top. The only things that are separating the top of the Big 12 from the Sooners.
And you talk about Big 12 in the women's game. As far as Oklahoma being on top, Baylor is second. Then you get with Missouri, which was really a surprise this year. And then look at Texas A&M. Gary Blair has done a terrific job down there.
Pull-up. Welch comes up short. And the rebound off to Aubry, who was a basketball player only about 8 years ago. Took up the game. She was a soccer player and dancer growing up in Kitchener, Ontario. But someone, I guess, convinced her that if you're 6'2", basketball might be something you might want to give a try.
A lot of high expectations this year, too, by Kaniori on Aubry, because she did play for the Canadian national team. They qualified for the World Championships.
Inside, Griffin's shot blocked, but a foul call. And the foul will go against Courtney Paris.
Well, we saw in the first half there, you see both Ashley and Courtney off the double team, and they looked like it was a foul ball by Courtney. And, you know, a couple pair of twins that I missed was Heidi and Heather Burge out of Virginia when they were at the Final Four with Dawn Staley. And I thought it looked like a good block. And as you notice, every chair here had the number 3 card placed on it. And we saw early in the first half, those threes were flying around.
Set to come on, one of the seniors, Laura Andrews, who checks in as Chelsea Welch sits down. This is the final home game, at least regular season-wise, for Laura Andrews, a senior from Washington, Oklahoma, only about 20 minutes away from Norman, as she was honored with a start along with Becky Preston on senior day, and knocking one down, the leading three-point shooter in the history of the Sooners program, Erin Higgins, from way outside, and it's back to a 20-point bulge.
Diaz comes right back.
In transition, Andrews can't get it to go. A blocking foul called, though, on Diaz, so Andrews will head to the line. And we were speaking earlier today with Sherry Cole, the head coach for Oklahoma, about her seniors. Now, Laura Andrews, who's stepping to the line now, only averages 5 points per game. Becky Preston averages 2.2 points per game, and that's Becky Preston on the right side of your screen. But she said that her 2 seniors could not have been better for team unity and for influencing, especially Becky Preston's influence over Courtney and Ashley Paris.
And you look at both those players last year, they started throughout the season, and they averaged more minutes last year than they are this year. So the minutes have gone down, and for Laura Andrews to go to Sherry Cole and said, what does it take to be a special senior? And Sherry Cole said, just the fact that you came to me and asked makes you special.
She told us that story, and she had tears welling up in her eyes, because being a special senior is something that she has always talked about. Knocking another one down is Erin Higgins. And Oklahoma now leads 53-32. Higgins 4 of 6 from behind the arc.
We mentioned Higgins high. 3 times she's hit 6 3-pointers for her career.
Latoya Howe penetrates, misses with the left hand. The rebound off to Higgins. Brittany Brown dumps one down to Andrews, who pulls it back out. This is the largest lead for Oklahoma.
Look at Ashley Paris just grab that. That was a tough pass to save.
Kept it alive. Now it's Courtney.
The one thing, you know, you talked about the free throw shooting with the twins, but also turning to the left. But how about Laura Andrews knocking down another outside shot? And that's really helped Oklahoma in this game. So much attention is paid to Courtney and Ashley Paris down low, but the outside shooters are making things happen.
Well, on senior day, Laura Andrews with a triple. Great ball movement by the Sooners.
You saw in Nebraska, they really doubled down, tripled down on Courtney Paris, and by the time she got the ball out of there, which she's an excellent passer, there's nobody really to defend the perimeters because Nebraska has all sagged down to defend inside the paint.
Well, Laura Andrews, again, expanding on the point you talked about, as she goes to Sherry Cole and says, you always use the phrase, what it means to be a special senior. I want to be a special senior, and what does that mean? And well, Laura Andrews last year averaged 5 points and 3 rebounds per game, but she started 17 games as a junior. And you can see that the program that Sherry Cole has now built here at Oklahoma, built oftentimes on those seniors. Well, now Andrews is a backup player. She comes in off the bench. She only averages about 18 minutes a game, where last year, again, she was a starter for half the season. and never a complaint, always about what is best for the team. From both of the seniors, Andrews and Becky Preston, as Hardy connects.
And you look at the first 2 years that Sherry Cole came here to Oklahoma, her overall was 5-22 and 8-19. And then 4 years later, she goes to the Final Four.
A program that not 18 years ago was about to be disbanded.
That's right. She's got a good chance to go in the Final Four this year.
Howell pulls up, and the rebound off to Courtney Paris.
Just off that rebound, the outlet that Courtney Paris had, she reminds me a lot of a Moses Malone or Wes Unseld type thing. I know that's going back a ways. There's probably a lot of young kids that don't remember those players. But the thing is, too, because of the offensive rebounding, that's why she's so much like Moses Malone. She just attacks and goes after the shot.
Well, another offensive rebound by Courtney Paris kept the possession alive, but Ashley turns it over. A 24-point lead for Oklahoma, as right now both of the Paris twins are on the floor. But there's Laura Andrews, who will head to the bench along with the rest of her teammates for a quick timeout. The senior on senior day, enjoying her afternoon. Oklahoma comfortably in front.
To those who say NASCAR isn't a sport, they may be right. It's a way of life. Busch Beer, for 25 years running, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Busch Series.
The Rock Chalk Chant at the University of Kansas is one of the most famous college yells. It starts out in very slow cadence, and then as it goes through its rigmarole, it becomes more animated. It's quite a pre-game ritual that has become famous all over America.
ESPN College Game Day, fueled by Diet Dew, Saturdays at 11 and 8 on ESPN.
Change is good, and change just got better with Charter telephone service. Keep your current phone number, save money, and get all your favorite services, including voicemail, call waiting, and caller ID for less than $40 per month, including unlimited calls to Wisconsin, the U.S., and Canada. Call 1-800-718-0767 today, and you'll receive free installation. Call today and save more with bundled packages, including Charter high-speed and digital cable, all on one convenient bill. Call Charter today.
1, 2, 3, 4!
They sang. We listened.
It's been a hard day's night.
They grew. We grew. They led. We followed.
All you need is love.
Nobody changed music more than the Beatles. And no radio station understands the Beatles like the lake.
It's been a great afternoon for the Oklahoma women's team as they lead 58-34. Annie Myers, you watched a very exciting Oklahoma men's team pull off a win last night.
Oh, it really was. Kevin Bookout, as I said, he made a big play at the end of the game off a block. Kansas State was right there in the game, and then we've seen big blocks by Courtney Paris in this game, that's for sure. And Kevin Bookout also looking forward to the track season as a shot putter.
Well, there's the pair, Courtney Paris and Ashley Paris. And let's take a look at Courtney Paris and how, as her freshman season, compares and stacks up against some of the all-time greats and what they put up their freshman years.
Cheryl Miller, the only other one out of there is a four-time All-American. Lisa Leslie and Donovan were not four-time All-Americans. Donovan and Miller both won national championships. Lisa Leslie was a player of the year and as an Olympian, all of them Olympians. And Courtney Paris looking to be an Olympian maybe in 2008. Sherry Cole is just named to the board of directors for USA Basketball and would like to coach Busch. She said, I'd really like to go on that team with Courtney Paris that's going to go out, but she's going to stay home with her family.
Paris swats one away again, rejecting the shot of Jessica Gerhardt inside. That's her fourth block.
Paris has had 7 blocks against Texas Tech this year.
Ashley looking for Courtney. The ball deflected and stolen away by Nebraska.
She's probably going, Courtney, you were supposed to move for that one.
You think there's some sisterly arguments on the way home after games over plays like that? Pull up and knocking one down is Elena Diaz, who grew up in Columbia and led her high school team in Cartagena to a national title in 1999. As we continue with Judgment Week, presented by Cisco Systems. Nebraska and Oklahoma. Bob Wischusen and Ann Myers here in Norman. And it has been an Oklahoma afternoon. Nebraska in red got off to a good start, but couldn't maintain the shooting percentage necessary to stick with the shooting percentage that Oklahoma will put up just about every game when Courtney Paris is inside doing damage like that. She now is one rebound away from keeping her double-double streak alive.
Well, she's getting the shots, too. The games where they lost, she did not take a whole lot of shots. Against TCU, she was 7 of 7 from the floor.
Courtney Paris lays it home and a chance for a three-point play. Beautiful penetration by Brittany Brown to set it up.
She has such big hands, and the control over the ball that she has, such a soft touch, and is able to take the hits and finish shots.
Gerhardt called for the foul as Paris gets it done on the defensive end and the offensive end.
I love how she goes straight up, too, and then on the offensive end, she gets the dish, and she's always looking for the ball. Sherry Cole said the one thing that impresses her is her hands. They're so good, not only in catching the ball and shooting the ball, but also passing.
Again, one more rebound would give Courtney Paris her 21st consecutive double-double and her 26th double-double this season. And every double-double she racks up adds to her Big 12 record in terms of consecutive double-doubles. Is right now just a 20-game double-double streak alive.
The lowest point total this year was against USF, where she had 12 points and 6 rebounds. Probably a little nervous going home. Back to San Francisco.
Danielle Page fades away and connects with 8 minutes to go. Oklahoma putting the finishing touches on what would be their 15th win in the conference. As nice. Inside Becky Preston misses, but the rebound off to Courtney Paris. It's outside to Higgins for 3, and she knocks it down.
Well, they should give Paris a rebound. We haven't seen it up on the stats yet. There they go.
And that was an official rebound, handed off to Courtney Paris, so she now has her double-double. 21 consecutive double-doubles and 26 double-doubles this season in 29 games. That's amazing.
And the one thing that Sherry Cole has got to be happy about with her players right now is the defensive end. Forcing Nebraska to take bad shots. They're getting the ball. They're running out, getting break situations.
Wide open Preston. Offensive rebound Paris, and she is fouled.
You mentioned about Courtney Paris having the opportunity maybe to play on the Olympic team in 2008 or 2012. She'll still be in college, as Sylvia Fowles will, the 6'6" center out of LSU. Probably 2 best centers in the game, college game right now.
Well, this afternoon we're getting a look at what looks to be an all-time great Sooner in the making. And when we come back, we'll look at another all-time great Sooner, our colleague, Stacey Dales, when we return to Norman in just a moment.
I thought we were here for a meeting.
We are.
So why are you on your laptop?
I'm emailing you. Check your inbox.
Now?
Now.
We can talk. It's a private club.
As private as our network.
I'll check my inbox.
Privacy. Powered by Cisco.
The world may not come with an easy button, but your business does. It's called Staples.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash.
Don't give me no rules. All I got are rules.
This song's for your Joaquin Phoenix, Reese Witherspoon, Walk the Line. Only Tuesday.
So I'm wondering, what's a Thermacare heat wrap? Then I put it on my aching back and I realized, oh, it's like a heating pad without a cord. And my pain just melts away. Yes, I feel like I could do backflips. No.
Well, now she's Stacey Dale Schumann, and she is certainly a familiar face if you follow college basketball on ESPN. But a few years ago, back in 2002, certainly when Oklahoma went to the Final Four, she was just Stacey Dales and one of the all-time great players in the history of Oklahoma basketball. She scored just shy of 2,000 points for her career. 4th all-time leading scorer, 1st all-time leading assist maker, the 8th all-time leading rebounder, and 4th all-time in steals in Oklahoma basketball history. And she was named to the 10th anniversary team for Big 12 women's basketball as the conference is now celebrating its anniversary. And Stacey Dale's one of the top 5.
She was the second big recruit for Sherry Cole. Felicia Whaley was number 1, and Stacey Dale came and really turned things around. Dale was the point guard for the Canadian national team on the Olympic team in 2000 and was drafted in Washington and kind of retired for a few years and then got into our business and has done a terrific job and decided she got healthy and wanted to come back. And it'd be nice if the Chicago Sky use her at her best position, too. So I'm really excited for her to come back and see her play again. I thought she had quit way too early.
1 of 2 at the line for Courtney Paris. Both Laura Andrews and Becky Preston in the game for Oklahoma as Paris pulls down yet another rebound, and she's fouled by Jessica Gerhardt. It certainly looks as if Kelsey Griffin's afternoon is over for Nebraska as she gave it her best effort trying to stay inside as best she could. And a reminder that coming up, women's college basketball, Monday, 7:30 Eastern. 2 of the top teams in the nation. Number 6, UConn taking on number 8, Rutgers. The Scarlet Knights and Huskies available in high definition on ESPN2 HD. Call your cable operator or satellite provider today. And, of course, ESPN, the exclusive home of the Women's NCAA Championship.
Well, Connecticut in the top 10. Rutgers going at it for that number 1 in the Big East.
A rejection by Andrews. And she runs down the loose ball herself.
Normally, Andrews, as we said, will come off the bench, started in this game. And Sherry Cole says the bench production has been one of the strengths of the team this year, that their bench has a tendency to outproduce the opponent's bench.
Down to 8 seconds on the shot clock. Inside Sanchez, rejected as the ball is knocked out of bounds with 6 seconds for Oklahoma to shoot. As Andrews just gets it done a moment ago on the defensive end.
Laura Andrews only 1 block coming into this game, gets number 2 for this season. Oh, nice screen.
Preston steps back and knocks down a jumper. Oklahoma has now opened up their largest lead at 29 points as both of the seniors get into the act.
As we mentioned in the first half, that Becky Preston and Laura Andrews started last year, had minutes. That has been reduced because of the team situation this year, and Preston is the first player that the Twins go to off the bench for advice. And it's nice to have when you can have junior, senior leadership with even when you have a player that's a young player and is looking for guidance, because they don't know it all. Nice
Sanchez,
pass.
beautiful backdoor look. And Ashley Paris couldn't convert. The rebound pulled down by Danielle Page. Missing a jump hook on the baseline was Gerhardt. Breaking it up, though, the other way, at least for a moment, Sarah White. Instead, it's outside. Andrews misses, and White has the rebound.
But the good hustle play by Ashley Paris, knocking that ball out for the outside shot to Andrews. You see defense a little bit more lax. Nebraska trying to get the ball inside. Gerhardt just kind of throwing it up right now, and off those misses, Oklahoma's been able to run.
Well, you wonder if this year, if you look back at Oklahoma's season, if it might have been back on January 4th when they beat Iowa State at Iowa State by 20. Now, that was the first win at Iowa State for Oklahoma since the inception of the Big 12. And if maybe that was one of those moments, one of those benchmark games in a season where you can see then things really head in what has now become a very special direction.
Sherry Cole said that was the turning point because they had not won since she'd been there, and they had come off that loss against Illinois and Michigan State, even though they had beaten New Mexico. But that Iowa State game on the road there was the turning point.
Nice steal at midcourt by Sarah White. Backdoor cut, Gerhardt misses. And Preston has the rebound.
There you go back to that, and they're different lineups too at the Christmas break. They had lost to Michigan State, and Welch was inserted into the starting lineup, and they just seem to move a little bit better without the ball. Because once that ball goes inside, you got to start cutting.
Preston has it knocked away. It bounces the far side to Andrews, and underneath, missing inside, Ashley Paris. Tries again and connects. 31-point lead for Oklahoma.
They have Courtney Paris listed at 6'4", Ashley Paris at 6'3". I think that is hedging a little bit. I don't believe that either one of them are that tall, but yet they are able to get the rebound, get in position, and you can't teach that, to be around the basketball.
Not to mention the fact that Hakeem Olajuwon's daughter is going to be coming to Oklahoma next season. So the twins of Bubba Paris already here, and Abby Olajuwon will join them next year. Amazing.
Right now at Red Lobster, choose your 2 favorites from 5 of our most irresistible jumbo shrimp dishes, like Jumbo Scampi, hand-breaded Crunch Fried, or our new decadent lobster and crab stuffed shrimp. That's Jumbo Shrimp, only at Red Lobster.
It's jammed or something.
What are you doing?
Step back.
Please.
What are you doing in my car?
Want to get away? Now you can. With Southwest Airlines Internet Specials, you can fly to 61 destinations coast to coast for just $49 to $159. Purchased by March 6th.
You are now free to move about the country.
This is the kitchen, bathrooms. Hey, Gary. Hey. Your new Trio 700. The first to run Windows mobile application, so it's as easy as working on your PC. And because it's from Verizon Wireless, you're on the nation's largest high-speed wireless broadband network. So your office is pretty much everywhere.
Pretty nice.
Get the Palm Trio 700W smartphone with Windows Mobile, broadband speed, and a $100 rebate. Only from Verizon Wireless. It's the network.
Right now at Red Lobster, choose your 2 favorites from 5 of our most irresistible jumbo shrimp dishes, like Jumbo Scampi, hand-breaded Crunch Fried, or our new decadent lobster and crab stuffed shrimp. That's Jumbo Shrimp, only at Red Lobster.
The moment of truth, a choice to get up and keep on fighting. It's not about hype. You can't read it on paper. It's the second a team decides to believe. Seasons change, as do the faces, but the moment lies in wait, like the first trace of snow. The NCAA Championships on ESPN, celebrating 100 years of the student athlete, the NCAA Centennial.
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Cisco, changing the way people work, live, play, and learn. Innovation powered by Cisco.
Trey Wingo back with Carol Lawson in our studios. Update you on a wacky game in the Big Ten. At one point, it was 12-0 Penn State. Ohio State has won 15 straight, came back. Then Amanda Brown with that bucket pushes it back up to 17. It's back down to 5. This game going back and forth again. Ohio State riding a 15-game winning streak coming into this one. They've already wrapped up the Big Ten. Meanwhile, LSU taking it to Mississippi State. Simone Augustus with 11. Bob and Ann, back to you.
Trey Wingo, thanks very much. Oklahoma has been in control most of the afternoon thanks to the play of Courtney and Ashley Paris, who are now enjoying the last 3.5 minutes on the bench. But something Carol Lawson said at halftime that I thought was an interesting take, and let's see how the rest of the season plays out for Oklahoma, as now they have this afternoon one more Big 12 game and then the Big 12 tournament. But she said that even if they go undefeated for the regular season, and they're 1 win away after today from doing exactly that, that she felt they still needed to win the Big 12 tournament in order to gain a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. And, you know, I guess it's hard to see a major conference like this have an undefeated regular season champion need to win the conference tournament in order to have a 1 seed, but there's so many good teams out there.
Especially as strong as the Big 12 has been, and I agree with her. I think that the Big 12 is down this year, and if you look at the 2 ACC teams in North Carolina and Duke, and you know Maryland's in the top 5, and then you've got Tennessee. You can't discount Tennessee. I don't think they'll be a number 1 seed unless they win the SEC tournament over LSU. And there you see Oklahoma in their situation. Their big wins against UCLA, New Mexico, and Baylor, but they've lost against ranked teams, Connecticut, Michigan State, and Ohio State, and then lost to Illinois. But then you look at Stanford.
Well, some of those games as well were double-digit losses for Oklahoma. So there have been times where when they stepped out of the conference, say against Michigan State, against UConn, they lost by sizable margins.
And you look at the Big Ten. Is that going to be the same way with Ohio State? If, you know, obviously they have won the Big Ten championship. Do they need to win the tournament to get a number 1 seed?
And for Oklahoma, their loss to Michigan State was by 20. So there have been a few moments this year that their loss to UConn was by 20 as well.
Illinois was 11.
You wonder how far back the committee will look at some of those results when they factor things in. And you'd have to say, to be fair, that Oklahoma has to be considered right now a different team than they were 2 months ago.
Well, certainly, and I think a key, too, is everybody being healthy. And that's been a big plus for Oklahoma this year. Yeah, they lost by 4 to Ohio State at Ohio State. Great matchup with Jessica Davenport. And there you see Kelsey Griffin, the freshman for Nebraska, has not played a whole lot in this second half. And, I mean, what heart she showed in that first half. Struggled. She has mononucleosis. And you could really see in her face and her performance and how tough it's going to be with 1 more game left.
Well, she's had 3 double-doubles and 18 games in double figures this season. So going for the most part without her this afternoon was really going to be a tough task for Nebraska.
And 1 more game left in the regular season. But then when the Big 12 tournament comes, they're going to be a team to be reckoned with. And then do they have a chance to have postseason play, whether they go in the NCAA tournament or will they go WNIT like they did last year?
Andrews tried a lob going back door for Kendra Moore. It was broken up.
A good help by Diaz, and Diaz then knocking the shot down. But really excellent play, I thought, by Oklahoma to run that play.
Winchester thought about it from downtown. The crowd wanted to see it from Carolyn Winchester, who's a walk-on from Washington, Oklahoma, which again is just down the road from here in Norman. Instead, it was Preston with 1 minute remaining on senior day here at Oklahoma.
Preston really has been a presence for Oklahoma. She came in and started as a senior, as you said, senior game. And just the presence out on the floor has really kind of been settling for Oklahoma.
And now Leah Rush is going to check back in as we take a look at Nebraska's resume. And this a really classy job done by Sherry Cole as she is giving Becky Preston and Laura Andrews a curtain call on senior day here in Norman. The 2 seniors who again only account for about 7 total points per game in the stat column, but according to Sherry Cole, count for a lot more than that in practice and in the locker room.
And you talk about the sellout. Most of them will stay to listen to what Sherry Cole has to say about these 2 seniors, which she thinks that she has had no better 2 seniors than these 2. And she's had some good players here.
It looks like Sherry Cole was wiping away a tear as she was getting very misty earlier on today at the shoot-around, telling us stories about Laura Andrews and Becky Preston and what she feels those 2 players have meant to her program and her time here in Norman.
A great opportunity, too, to not only get them their applause, but also some rest and some other kids some playing time.
30 seconds remaining in what has been a very enjoyable afternoon for Oklahoma.
Wow.
And that last moment for TK LaFleur sort of indicative of the kind of day it's been for Nebraska, as she had no idea that screen was going to be set by Rush. And she took a hammer and fell down with 12 seconds remaining.
Just a big win for Oklahoma. 1 more game against Missouri. Or should they? They play Texas Tech and Marcia Sharp's team.
So the final score is Oklahoma improves to 15-0 in the conference, one game away from a perfect regular season in the Big 12, and they win it over their arch rivals Nebraska this afternoon, 73-45. What a convincing win it was, and Courtney Paris keeps alive her string now, 21 consecutive double-doubles. That's a conference record.
That's right, and 26 overall, and she just continues to wow people, and they maybe not needed her numbers today, but everybody contributed. It was just kind of a relaxed Oklahoma team, and they really had fun out here.
We've seen Oklahoma start the season off, picked to finish 4th overall in the Big 12, and they have made a steady march up into the top 10, ranked 9th now, and they are steaming towards postseason play. So once again, the final from here in Norman, the Oklahoma Sooners over the Nebraska Cornhuskers, 73-45. This has been a presentation of ESPN, your exclusive home for the Women's NCAA Basketball Championship. For more information, it's ESPN.com. Now Trey Wingo back in the studio.
All right, Bob, thanks very much. Coming up, second half of our doubleheader, Marcia Sharp and Texas Tech taking on Texas. Judgment Week continues. Loser of this game pretty much out of the NCAA picture. Welcome back to our college basketball studios. Trey Wingo here with the ever-sharp, ever-insouciant Carol Lawson. Thoughts on the game between Oklahoma and Nebraska? It was a 10-point game at the break. Courtney Paris was held in check, and then they played the second half.
Oh, then they played the second half, and I think Oklahoma just taking care of business, doing what they need to do in the Big 12 conference picture, and continuing that undefeated streak there in the conference. And of course, Courtney Paris, what can you say about her? She's the National Freshman of the Year, in my opinion, and what she does, she affects the game. Scoring points, rebounding, blocking shots. You have to account for her size and her presence in the middle. And she shows tremendous dexterity with her hands, with her feet. She's so light on her feet for a player that's so big.
There may be some people at your old school that may have a different opinion about who the National Freshman of the Year is. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But do not forget, second half of our doubleheader here on ESPN2 at Judgment Week stays in the Big 12. Texas Tech at Texas. Loser of this game really out of the NCAA picture. Winner still alive. For a preview of what's coming up, let's check in with Pam Ward. Hey, Pam.
It's a great rivalry game between Texas and Texas Tech always, but this week everything has been overshadowed by the surprise announcement that Marcia Sharp will no longer be coaching this Texas Tech team after this season.
Pam, it is so hard to fathom that Marcia Sharp will not be roaming the sidelines in Lubbock a year from now, but the fact that she